books matter. It's terrific. Hello, everyone. I'm a big fan of H.G. Wells. In fact, H.G. Wells, a set of H.G. Wells books, a set of four, was my first foray into becoming an Easton Press collector. It wasn't my very first book. I had one Easton Press book. It was F. Paul Wilson's Dighty Town World, and it was a signed edition. And I bought that years ago when it was, I don't know. I bought it years ago, and I went a long time, never had another Easton Press book. And then one day on Facebook, somebody was selling a four book lot. It had The Island of Dr. Moreau, it had The Invisible Man, it had The Time Machine, and it had War of the Worlds. that putting those four books together made me decide maybe I should have a wider shelf pile of Easton Press books because they look good and they look good on the shelf, and I've bought a lot of them since then. But recently Easton Press came out with a newer version of the War of the Worlds. This is not it. This is the old one that I got, and I figured it might be worthwhile to compare what they're selling now, their H.G. Wells War of the Worlds, to what they sold earlier. And I don't have enough Easton Press literacy to be able to tell you about every one along the way and when it was made and all that kind of stuff. In fact, by snooping around in this book, I don't actually know when this book was printed. I know when some of the illustrations were copyrighted, but I don't know when they printed this book. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little bit of this, show you a little bit of that, and this and that and the other. And there we go. So if you're familiar with Easton Press books, this is an Easton Press book. You've got a leather cover on the book, leather boards. You got the gold letters onto the cover. If you're not careful, it's easy to scuff it up and make it look bad. You'll see a lot for sale that look kind of rotten. Ribbed spines, which I really dig, man. A built-in ribbon marker, the 22 karat gold gilt page ends. And this one is nice. It's got some really nice illustrations. I'll quickly show it. This particular one here, somebody affixed the nameplate, the previous owner nameplate that they ship with the books. They affixed it to the front book page end, or the front end paper, with no name on it. I didn't pitch too much of a fit. I got them at a good price, and I knew what I was getting when I got it. These sellers sent me pictures. But you can see an older style, older design here on the end papers. The built-in ribbon markers just kind of tucked out of the way. Our title page gives us collector's edition, bound in genuine leather. I'll show you some of the illustrations and stuff in this book, and then I'll help you. We'll look and see what's different, if anything, inside the book. I know just by the pictures the covers are different, but I don't know what's different on the inside. The special contents of this edition are copyright 1964 by the Easton Press, but it doesn't tell me when this book was actually published. So I showed you what that looks like. Remember it. Let me know if it's the same. What else? Let's look at the pages where you got an introduction written by Stratford-on-Avon, Warwickshire, J.B. Priestley, written by J.B. Priestley. The contents, you got the introduction, the chapters, you got the color plates. So let's look here. We got listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 color plates listed. Page 7, 18, 23, 55, 70, 90, 116, 131, 150, and 78. The War of the Worlds, Book 1. Let's look at some of these color plates. We'll just flip through and see. I know this book has some beautiful artwork in it. And let's take a look at some of them. So this one's on the opposite of page 7. Color picture covers most of the page there. Let's see what some of these others are. I don't know if we'll go through. There's some black and white pictures also mixed in, but we'll go through some of these full color plates just to give us a bit of a comparison to see what the artwork is like. What's different, I don't know, but I get a sneaking suspicion that what we're going to see in the new edition will be very similar. Perhaps the same artwork. Like I said, on the website, The book looks different on the outside, and we'll see if there's anything different on the inside. Like I said, there's black and white pictures mixed in. We're not going to spend all the time going through some really great illustrations in this book. I really like it. Anyway, proud to have it. Big H.G. Wells fan and a very important book by H.G. Wells. That's why I was willing to get a second copy from Easton Press. And the only thing that I know is different is the way the book looks on the outside. Kind of curious to see what's different on the inside. That's why I decided to do a little bit of video. Maybe you got the same questions and I can help you get the answers. What else? This one, some cool looking artwork here. I don't know if I'm going to show it all. I'm more than halfway through. I don't see what it could hurt. At least to see what's in here and see what difference there is in the new edition. I really like, did I say it already? I really like the artwork in this book. It is one of the things that made it special, a special edition to me. I've got other editions of this book that are very phenomenal. Suntup Editions has a nice numbered edition. The War of the Worlds there, and I was glad to get that one. One of the first Suntup Editions books that I got were the H.G. Wells sets, and the Island of Dr. Moreau is where I decided to become a subscriber or a numbered rights holder for Suntup Editions. That's the one that hooked me and said I can't let any more go past. So there's a little bit about my older edition. Maybe some of you out there smarter than me can tell me what this one is, but it was, let's see, who is the illustrated by Joe Mugnani. Joe Mugnani. Sorry if I say your name wrong, Joe. I do apologize. It's not my intent. So here's my newest edition. It comes on the outside of the box. It's got a receipt and other junk in there. This one is part of the Masters of Science Fiction collection. That's the program that they call. And I paid almost full price for it, $79. I think I got maybe $10 off or $11 off a regular price because I had a subscription. It comes with, I showed you the affixed nameplate. It comes with this in the envelope on the outside of the book. And I don't affix them. I just tuck it in just like this, just tuck it in the book to save for, that's part of what you're buying. I mean, you may never want it on your book, but that's part of what you're buying. And it's a neat little thing they do add. And not surprisingly, a lot of Easton Press owners tuck that in on or stick it to their book. So I've got here my masterpieces of science fiction. Is that what it was? And now I'm excited to see what we get when we open this one up and see what the differences are. I almost canceled my subscription on this one because I already had the War of the Worlds. In fact, I got a good heads up from a good fella saying, since you've already got War of the Worlds, you might as well cancel your subscription. And I would have, but I don't know. Just being nutty fella that I am, I pulled up Easton Press website, looked at the book, and said, "Whoa, that looks different than mine. Maybe I'll have two." So that's what we're having here. Hopefully we get, and yeah, you can see they wrap them in shrink wrap, but you can see how different this one is right off the bat. I showed you the cover, and if I must editorialize right off the bat, this new edition here, the cover looks so much better than my original edition. We'll take the shrink wrap off here in a second. We're just doing a really fast comparison, the front and back. I like this one much better right off the bat. Let's get the shrink wrap off, because shrink wrap is for shipping. And I don't know if I've told you or not, but when I cut this shrink wrap off of a book, to me that's the time when I'm really getting close to damaging the book. And I've come up with a special technique to ensure that I never damage the book with a knife. And that is, I only cut the plastic, I never cut the book. If you do that, stick to that set of rules, you will never damage your book with the knife. Only cut the plastic, never the book. Anyway, we got the plastic off. It looks so much better. I love the picture on the front as opposed to basic designs that you will often get with Easton Press. And then again, on the spine, you get imagery that, if you've read the book, means something, obviously. And then there's our back of the cover. This spine has three ribs, the EP logo. Just looks good. All in all, this one looks better than that one from the outside, which is kind of why I bought it. The end papers have the textured material that Easton Press tends to use now with them. And I want to look inside and see what is different, if anything, inside this book. All right, so here's our illustration and title page. I don't remember. Was this there? Already I got this page here is textured. I don't know if I could show you that in the picture or not. The texture on this paper is almost like that of a business card. It's definitely different. But the illustration right there, it's been so long since I've looked at the other book. Minutes. I mean, I don't remember. Was that picture there? It doesn't seem like it was in that spot to me. But let's look here. This one, the special contents of this edition are copyright 1964, 1992, 2013 by Easton Press, Norwalk, Connecticut. Printed on archival quality paper, especially milled for this edition. Printed, bound. Anyway, there's yada, yada, and yada in there. So we got our contents. The chapters, book 1, book 2, and there are some differences, at least in page orders, because I got a blank page after book 2, and then we go here, War of the Worlds, book 1, The Coming of the Martians. Jumps right into the story. It doesn't tell where my illustrations are, what pages they are on. I didn't use it before, but that's a difference. So far, there's differences in this book already that are readily, easily available. So I'm going to flip through here and see what kind of artwork we got. I got a black and white image. Now, I didn't stop for all of these, so I can't tell you was that in the original or not. This paper is definitely much different. Like I said, it's textured paper, and I would compare it kind of to almost business cards, slightly rippled, like a faint orange peel type of texture, just barely something like that. All right, let's find some images, some illustrations. Maybe there are none. They took the illustration heading out, telling me where the illustrations were. So maybe they didn't put them in here. So far, I'm not finding any. Lots of these black and white illustrations here, but none of the beautiful full color, large type illustrations that we saw in the previous edition. Again, lots of still getting these black and white images that I kind of skipped over. But that's disappointing, man. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. My name is not Debbie. But I loved the illustrations in that book. I'm not sure if they were, but I think they were the same ones that were in my Heritage Press editions that I've gotten of this book. Still lots of black and white, but other than that, I guess you'd call it that front. Would you call it frontispiece? I don't know. The picture in the front. No more illustrations in here besides these mini black and white illustrations, which are nice, but it's kind of sad to go from what we had to what we got in terms of taking out those beautiful pictures. So I'm not seeing anything here besides black and white pictures. Let me look. There was another thing. I'm going to compare these. Here's our text size and the margins and all that. Take a good look. Memorize that. Let me tuck my ribbon back in so I can tuck my ribbon back in here, close it up in the book. Anyway, remember what the text size was on that book, and let's look at this one here. It's about the same, small with large margins. Not exactly the combination that most of you are looking for. But that's that. That's my comparison. So the cover on this new one, in my opinion, devastates the cover on the old one. Of course, that's all taste. They're the same size. They might not look it, but they're the same size essentially the same thickness. The newer one's slightly thicker. But I think that's all the boards. The boards are just thicker. The old one has a lot of color illustrations throughout the book. The new one, they're all gone. You got lots of black and whites. And I didn't stop at each black and white one, but we're just going to say that they're in both of them. The frontispiece of this book, if that's what you call it, the big picture in the front by the title page, if that's what you call that, it looks nice, but this has a bunch of artwork in it, and this one is missing a bunch of the artwork that the old one has. So you weigh it. I'll let you be the judge on this one. They're both going on my shelf. I'm going to keep them both, and that's that. I'm a little bit disappointed. This one, to me, would be definitive if it had those full large color illustrations that this one has, because on the surface, the cover, and everybody knows you can judge a book by looking at the cover. Sometimes qualifying words matter. This one wins for my taste easily, but those illustrations, those nice pictures, it's hard to give up. How do you give them up? I don't know. Don't know why. Anyway, that's all the lies I can think of to tell at the moment. I appreciate your time. So c'est la vie, baby. C'est la vie, baby.